Hi folks, good evening. Welcome. It's another Friday in the life of the world. Come on now. I was going to talk about my radio show. On Journalist Hangout, we say it as it is. Lay the facts on you, allow you to make up your mind. Welcome. Now, today on the program, Nigeria begins COVID-19 vaccination this day, as federal government and states yet to agree on sharing formula for 3.9 doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines. Senate queries Environment Ministry over 55 missing government vehicles, and later on we'll share this with you. Federal government tasks states on security just as bandits abduct 60 women, children in fresh Zamfara attack. I'm hanging out with proud Ijebu lady Olabisi Deji Folutile. Is it Folutile or Folutile?
Folutile, you got it right.
Yeah, okay. What's the difference if I said Folutile?
I don't know. Folutile is not Yoruba.
Okay. No. It's anything but Yoruba.
No.
But we also have Dotun Oladipo here. Dotun is a proud Ijesha man. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so it's your show. Now the team is ready. I hope you are. Okay, then let's go. You know, it's now official. Nigeria took delivery of a first tranche of 3.9 million doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines on Tuesday. Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, had announced that vaccination would commence this Friday. That's today. As I speak, I understand vaccination is on. According to the schedule, frontline health workers would receive the jabs first, while Mr. President and his vice would take theirs on Saturday, that's tomorrow. But a little snag, though, there's a non-agreement by the central government and the states over sharing for the received vaccines. I'm just wondering, if to be fair-minded, the distribution of the vaccines should not be based on acuteness of impact of the virus.
I think there is an agreement now. If we want to go by what the chairman of the Governors Forum, okay, Mr. Fayemi, said after their meeting in Abuja, I think yesterday, though it has not been made official, but I think the governors decided that they will go with the sharing formula stipulated by the NPHCDA, and which also has not been made public, interestingly. But I have data, some form of data from the NPHCDA on the sharing formula right now. And from the data that is available, I think Kano, Lagos, and Katsina are getting the highest quantity of the vaccine, with Kano coming first, followed by Lagos and Katsina. Now back to your point, the sharing formula, the criteria for the sharing formula has not been made known to anybody, but I suppose that it's probably based on the number of acute cases, or since this one is for frontline health officials, probably they are looking at the number of health officials in these states that are likely to benefit. So from the record that we have right now, the least states are actually Bayelsa, the Federal Capital Territory, which is, Bayelsa is getting 589. The Federal Capital Territory is getting 695, while Nasarawa is getting 661. Interestingly, Kogi State, whose governor has always denied the existence of COVID-19,
you're taking us there now.
1,030 doses. So
what does it tell you?
I just to show that the cases were probably rampant there. But
you didn't talk about Dotun's state, but Dotun is not worried.
No, she is getting 1,032 doses.
Okay. So now,
for me, it's the way I see it is just the usual rancor in Nigeria about sharing formula. We've always been there.
Of anything?
Anything at all.
Good or bad?
You know, but for me, the way it runs, which I think is rational, is to look at the number of cases we have in each of these states. These things are quite glaring. We've always called Lagos the epicenter of this virus in Nigeria.
Otherwise, Lagos is most acute in terms of prevalence and all that.
Yes, and even deaths.
Okay, yeah.
If Lagos is, then we should go in that order. For instance, FCT is low on that ladder. FCT at some point became a major issue. People were even scared to go to Abuja because it was an everyday thing. So if that is the case, why are we not sitting down to say, look, how do we meet the needs of these states based on the number of cases we've had there? And if they still want to put it, the acuteness of those cases. Why are we not doing that? Lagos has dropped in the last 2 weeks or thereabout in terms of number of cases.
Prevalence and so on, yeah.
Yeah.
And acuteness?
It cuts across.
Okay.
But then we also can go back and look at the number of deaths. We are getting close to 2,000. Where have they occurred? So that can begin to tell us, look, this is, I don't know. I'm not a medical person, but ordinarily, some of these things for me shouldn't be an issue. They shouldn't be. If in reality we're a country, there is no suspicion anywhere.
We are a country.
No, that's what I'm saying. If indeed we are a country.
But we are.
There shouldn't
start that logic here. Yeah.
There shouldn't be any dispute over this.
But there's always a second opinion. You know, the NCDC must have its reason for sharing this thing this way. And you underlined an element here. The front line, the people, the first line.
Yeah, the health officials.
Yeah.
Which are, interestingly, they are the ones that have been in the front line fighting this battle. But then, looking at the figure again, I wonder why FCT is also having it low. Even if we want to look at it from that perspective, because the first Nigerian that was vaccinated today is a medical doctor in FCT, and he also said that he even said that his father wouldn't have died if there had been this vaccine. And from the way he spoke, you know, he said we lost some, we gained some.
Yeah.
Indicating that, you know, they lost so many, they must have lost some health workers. So I'm wondering, avoidably. No, so I'm now wondering, why is the figure for the FCT this low, going by what the medical doctor said? Or is it that the number of frontline health workers in FCT are not as many as they are in other,
as we ordinarily would envisage,
because they must have their reasons. But from what we can see, and I know we don't have all the details, they surely have
they are better equipped. But also you also have to consider the fact that they are talking about the ages that are more affected or more susceptible.
The age bracket.
Yes. So
the elderly.
So they are saying,
okay, we are told the elderly and the not too.
If you are 60 and above, you are on a priority list. You're on a priority list. That's one. Then two is the fact that the National Primary Health Care Development Agency has said, look, go to a particular website and register. Fine, this particular consignment may not cover everybody, but at least
3.9 million.
Yes.
Sizable.
Not
very sizable.
Very sizable. May not cover all the endangered groups. But can we go to that portal also and look at it? Who are those that have registered? Where are they? Because it shouldn't just, like I said, sir, be a matter of something that is already put in a mold that you can't change. We should act based. I know that we've also had this issue of preservation
Exactly.
of the vaccines. So there are a few places where you can preserve these things. So you can then say, okay, because of preservation, let us stick to it. But it shouldn't be. I think we should begin to look at those who are more susceptible, those we are likely to lose if we don't quickly attend to them. It shouldn't be about, just like we share the revenue. States must get this. Federal government must get. We should be flexible with it.
Oh, yeah, Dr. and BC, we are joined now by Dr. Faisal Shuaib. I think he'll be better able to shed some more light on this.
The frontline health workers in the first batch of vaccines received, they have fought hard to save us. They laid down their lives for us, and in the ICUs and treatment centers, they became our last line of defense.
The vaccination campaign will kick off today with the 4 phases, and we align with the planned arrival of vaccines in batches. Each phase targets a specific segment of our eligible population to ensure equity in vaccine deployment.
By doing this, we're symbolizing what we've been saying for the last few weeks from the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, that we're going to be prioritizing those who in the last 1 year have sacrificed on behalf of all Nigerians to make sure that those of us who contracted the disease are treated in a humane way, are treated in a way that really replicates the best traditions when it comes to the quality of medical practice.
We are happy to see that Nigeria received its first dose, its first batch of COVID-19 vaccine, and Nigeria will be administering this vaccine, this first dose, to healthcare workers to protect them. They've been our shield, and we need to honor them.
All right, then, that was simply a report of what really happened, a takeoff of. So we saw Dr. Shuaib, Minister of Health, Dr. Ehaniri, and so on. But, madam, let's quickly look at it. You had not too many Nigerians are disposed to taking these jabs. Have you heard this before?
Yeah.
That religious, cultural grounds and all that.
Definitely. I even read the report in Sarah Reporters today that talking about members of a particular church are claiming that they will not take the jab, you know, and they were giving reasons. I also think...
Tenable, you want to share some of the reasons?
No, I think it's spiritual. If you want to go that way.
No, doctor, we can't go there.
Yeah, and I think personal choices too. For some people, it's a question of personal choice. For some, it's still a question of, is this thing really real? For some, you know, there are lots of talks around the vaccine itself. Don't forget the fact that at a point, Bill Gates had to come out to say, I wonder why people are linking me with this, you know, kind of...
You know, conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And conspirators, this is their season.
Exactly. So for some Nigerians, really, they are not really too sure. But I guess by the time the president, the vice president, and the governors too, and their deputies, who have also promised to take the jab on March 9, by the time they come out to do that publicly, probably more Nigerians. But then I've also heard some people saying that, are we sure that it is the same thing that they give you that they will give those people?
Doctor, your Nigerians are hypercritical, and you are wondering if this is coming from informed backgrounds.
No, I think over the years, we have become the sort of people we are today. maybe as a result of the failure to give proper orientation to our people, which we have spoken about on this program in terms of, I won't say failure, but inability to reach citizens with adequate and correct information above all the dis and misinformation that we have on the social media. And then number two, the total lack of trust in government.
And mistrust.
Yeah, because even apart from Nigeria, there was a country where the citizens alleged that the jab that was given to their president was not
the real one.
The real one. So it's not just in Nigeria. It's about people being disconnected from government. There was a report, so the Edelman report, still showing that worldwide, the least trusted is government. People believe more in the NGOs and the media than the government. So it's just...
Even when the government hands over the jobs to the NGOs and so on.
It's still going to be the same.
So it's about persuasion, trusting your government.
Yes. It's even about trying to... We have to go back and change our own orientation. It's a default setting now. Even within the family. A father makes a promise and the son or daughter looks at him and says, to use the common language now, loriro.
Meaning?
Based on lies. So it's something that we have to change our orientation now and begin to be positive.
It talks about orientation now and how to change it, but then we are talking about institutions like the media getting into the mix to help restore confidence. And you talked about a church and their apathy to this vaccine. We have different levels of engagement now. The journalist, the religious leader, Muslim cleric, and
the NGOs.
And the NGOs and so on.
The federal and the government at all levels themselves. I think talking about issue of integrity is not just based on nothing. You see, how we need to look at how, to what extent do Nigerians actually really trust their leaders? That is very key. Because when we even talk about media persuasions and talking about communication to development communication, it is not based on nothing. If over the years, the examples you can point out to are the fact that you have people who make promises and they don't actually live by their promises. It's difficult even for the media to persuade the people to believe in such institutions. But as it is now, I think this is a global issue, and I think the media is very key in passing across the right form of messages at a time like this. Because since the public still trusts the media, so to say, whatever comes out of the media is going to also help in persuading people to really know the importance of these things.
Bisi, would you be ready to take the jab?
Actually, personally, I don't think so.
Actually, personally, Dotun, would you be ready to take the jab?
I will.
Okay.
And with my family too.
Ask me.
Will you be ready to?
They never come to me.
You don't register.
Is that yes or no?
You don't register.
No, essentially, the point must be made. This is a pandemic. Affects every country. And so it doesn't matter what your persuasion is, religious or otherwise. There's a pandemic, and let's go with the Joneses, as they say.
Also, it's going to be you taking the vaccine, especially for those who travel out of Nigeria. You get stuck in your country.
No, the point is that I may not want to take it, right? Okay. But I know that at a point.
Why?
Well,
because you have not.
Not because of anything. Don't let me go. You know, I told you the other time that there are personal reasons, there are religious reasons, there are so many other factors. You get it. But I know that at a point, if you really know that you have to get out of this country you have to take the jab.
Okay, we have a company. Ayeni has joined us from Lagos here. Ayeni, welcome. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Citizen Jones.
Yes, sir.
Happy Friday to you. Yeah, my contribution to this conversation is that concerning people not believing the government, I think this has been a recurring thing that does not start from now. You know, you can only believe and you know, have trust in somebody that you know that whatever he says, even before now, you will meet it as it is. But you know, government will say they will provide job, nothing forthcoming. They will do road, nothing forthcoming. You know,
Ayeni, leave road. This pandemic does not know if your road is tarred, your street is tarred. So it's about persuading your neighbor, Ayeni.
Some people did not believe. So that is it. Something that does not have any belief in.
Okay, do you yourself believe in that there's this pandemic? Do you yourself believe?
Yes, I believe. Okay. And whenever the vaccines get to me, maybe next year or 2023, I will take.
Come on. Yeah, Ayeni, thank you for your time.
I guess you can feel what we just said here.
Okay.
That there is this despondency. There is also this feeling that all these talks going on will end up the same way. They promise us jobs. There are 60,000 slots. The son of a nobody doesn't get one. It's just been there. So some don't even...
Don't go that way. Let's talk about the pandemic is here, the vaccine is here.
Citizens, let me complete the statement.
Getting a Nigerian to take the jab is a tall order here.
Let me complete the statement. Except you go out and try. Once you sit back in your home to say it is meant for the sons of or the daughters of those who are in power. Except to go out, you can't know if it's working. Some people have not even been to this MTCH website to even go and register. They've not been there. They've not even tried it. So that's why I'm talking of despondency.
What is the level of enlightenment that the agency is also doing to even make Nigerians aware of this?
I agree with you on that. But unfortunately, over the years, at least in the last 5 years, what I've come to realize is this. Nigerians have made up their minds what they want to read.
No. Some Nigerians.
Oh, not all. Not all. But from my own reading, studies that have been carried out, most have made up their minds what they want to read.
So tomorrow, following this thread, if Mr. President and his number 2 man would be taking the jabs, are you suggesting that the cameras will take a close-up of the injection bottle? Will it go anyway?
It's not going to solve any problem.
Okay.
It's not going to solve any problem. It's a question of trust. It's a question of trust. There is no level or length that you go to convince people. They will believe what they want to believe. Okay. But I don't agree with Dotun that most Nigerians have decided not, even if they've decided not to read, give it to them. Do your own responsibility.
And leave the rest.
And leave the rest.
Okay then, so we must go to our next story, but not before reminding you that the Hangout believes the pandemic is real, and so we must play by the rules. Okay? The vaccine is here. If it gets to your doorstep, please take it. Please stay. Now to our next story. The Ministry of the Environment has stolen the headlines. In our venomous environment, the Senate Committee on Public Accounts queried the ministry over allegations, gentlemen, of 55 vehicles that have gone missing from the ministry. A 2018 report of the Auditor General of the Federation had raised the roof over the matter and recommended that the permanent secretary in the ministry, Abel Olumoyiwa, be made to account for the missing vehicles. The PEMSEC had replied that the vehicles' papers were not available at the time the auditors came calling. The Senate committee sure has a tough nut to crack here. We wish it Godspeed. Dr. Let's quickly go there. 55 vehicles missing from the Ministry of the Environment is no small story. But that the Senate is making to pry into what happened is a tall order.
Well,
you must wish it Godspeed.
I indeed wish the Senate Godspeed, like you have said. But the big question is, are we going to get anywhere with it? When all of this started, what we have been talking about.
Doctor, when you speak, when you express a diffidence like this, it's like poison. It goes down the line. It's not poison. But because you are saying you are not trusting the Senate enough.
No, it's not about trusting the Senate enough. It's about trusting the system.
I'm talking about the Senate.
No.
The Senate says it wants to unravel what the wahala is. Yeah.
Okay, the
let's
bottom line
start
is,
from there. Yeah.
The other ones that they have tried to unravel, how many of them have we seen the results? I'm not saying we can't see the result here, but I'm saying it has become a norm, and that's why I'm going to explain this. There is what they call the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. What it's supposed to do is to look into what all the ministries, departments, and agencies are doing every year.
Oversight what they are doing.
Well, at least ensure that whatever they took as funding is accounted for. Ensure that all the properties and all the rest that you say you have, we can see them and feel them every year. We have seen in the last 1 year that the Senate and the House of Reps have been on this, that the Office of the Auditor General has not been allowed to perform that function since as far back as 2014.
By who or by what?
Good, because when people fail to submit these reports on a yearly basis, nothing is done to them.
Doctor, I don't want to fall into that trap.
Okay, let me hear where you belong.
No, I belong. It's a flat table here. You know, we pour everything here. No. Yeah, but the ministry, the Senate says it wants to unravel the.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I wish they will.
The report. I'm sure you've read the report. The answers are in the report.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I wish they will, because if they do, it perhaps will help us to have an example made of one ministry out of the so many MDAs that we have. We've not had all of this happening. That's why I'm saying I wish it will happen. Because it will help us. How do you say 55 vehicles?
In our time.
Yes. How do you say 55 vehicles suddenly went away? Okay. What happens with them? Let me say this. They are looking for 55 vehicles. Somebody will say, because I'm still a federal government worker, and I'm moving from Ministry of Agriculture, for instance, to Ministry of Health, I will take the vehicle with me. In the process...
That's what the law says, or the rule.
It's not the rule. You are supposed to leave it where you got it.
After all, you're going to have another vehicle.
Another one when you go there. So in the process, these things are not trackable again. That's why you see some at the state level, when the governor comes in, he begins to chase after the former advisors, commissioners in the immediate past government to bring their vehicles. So it's still what is happening. And that's, if you read it, the permanent secretary said he was going around looking for where those vehicles are. Should we be looking for them?
Okay. Should we say, I'm not humoring you. When Akwa Ibom was created from Cross River in 1987, September 23rd, you know, all Akwa Ibom-born drivers in Calabar drove their vehicles to the state.
Wow.
And there was commotion.
Because it's not their national cake.
Oh, come on. No, but seriously, BC, the PAMSEC says we were still busy looking for the papers of the vehicle. Tara.
He even brought some, actually during the probe. He brought some, but the Senate committee said the papers brought that the vehicles did not have chassis number. So I don't know how there could be papers without chassis numbers.
No, sorry. Not in a home video, not in a
no,
real life.
It's real life now.
Real life. Yeah. Yes, it's real life. It's a report. I read it. And
I read it too. I couldn't believe it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that the vehicles didn't have a chassis number. And I'm just wondering. But for me, this report we are talking about is a 2018 report. We are in 2021. So what happens between 2018 and 2021?
Yeah, but if you put a little pause there, but if the Senate wants to redeem itself and tell you, look, if it was the norm yesterday, we mean business.
Well, even if I tell you here that I trust the Senate, I will be deceiving you.
So I'm alone here.
Even me, myself, and me, and I don't trust the Senate. Because the first question that came to my mind when this came up was, what does the Senate want from this ministry that it is not getting right now?
Witch hunt.
Or now, the first thing that comes to your mind, that is the first thing that comes to your mind in Nigeria when things like this happen. And you cannot blame us. Because the past probes, like Dr. mentioned, what have we seen as aftermath of these probes? You know, we have a Senate that will make noise, and at the end of the day, we don't get anything out of it. So I am not really sure too many people are really convinced or persuaded that this Senate is trying to redeem itself or that is trying to do its oversight function.
Because I know since 2019, they have not passed a bill, a law. If this is the law, by other means, so be it.
Well, fine. For me, I wouldn't even support graft in any way. And for me also, I do not also think that the recommendations of the Senate, for instance, it should be sanctioned in accordance to a provision that you should do this. What is the job of our anti-graft agencies? I know that our civil service makes it very difficult for a civil servant to be relieved of his job.
Let's see if Onyeka, who is in Lagos, agrees with you.
Okay.
Onyeka, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, sir. Good evening to you all in the studio.
We greet you.
Okay, let me be quick. To me, in my opinion, in my opinion, I think the Senate is acting. They're acting a movie for us. Okay. And I agree with Madam BC. Whenever the Senate or the House of Reps, they attack a certain ministry, just know that that ministry does not be wetting ground in quotes. That is how they operate. Because I used to know a particular rep member from Edo State. I grew up in Benin. I won't say the person's name, but I know what the things they do behind the scenes. So when they disturb the particular ministry, just so that is to have a negotiation behind the scenes. It don't come down to anything. We all know what happened with Joy Nune and Akpabio. So let's forget that drama. They're acting film for when they finish, let us know. That's my
since you have touched Akpabio, I'll off your mic now. No, come on.
No, but
thank you very kindly. Yeah.
In reality, I think the solution is for us to have systems in place. How do you,
Dr.
for instance...
There are systems established.
No.
Those systems are not made to work.
Exactly. Because if you are saying there is a system...
Oh, no.
Then we have...
There are provisions.
It is now an agreement that system is working.
These provisions are systems, BC.
For instance...
You can seek redress by doing this. It's a provision.
Look at the comments we have had on this Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. It has not been funded for it to even perform.
By the way, okay, the other one, when fire enter, now Accountant General.
Yes, Accountant General. So you are supposed to now ask yourself the question. If we are still looking at reports of 2014 to 2019, are we ever going to finish this? Because in the House of Reps, you still have some reports of 2015, 2016, 2017, still being looked at. And how did we sleep?
BC, just talk about the House of Reps. You know, in my part of the world, we have a problem with the air sound. So we tend to say house of rapes. You know. But it's not to humor you. I'm saying, so house of reps,
yes.
not rapes. Yeah.
Not rapes.
Okay.
So when you look at it, what are they considering? They're still looking at reports of 2014. Can we get serious and put... when we say there is a system in place, for me, the assumption is it is working. That's when you can call it a system.
Yeah.
But when it is not working, how do you call that a system? The Auditor General comes and complains and says, look, I cannot even when I send papers to these ministries, they ignore me.
Doctor, in taking this home now, are you saying we must not pry into what happened to those 55 vehicles?
We should.
Okay.
I'm saying that we should begin, if we can begin with this, then others will know that it's a serious business.
You know, this
but
this
we
is
have
like
not. We have not certainly
this is like putting Igbo in our pocket. We are reporters, so let's follow this story through, right?
Well, you see, in 2009, there was a parliamentary scandal in the United Kingdom where members of the House of Commons and the House of the Lords were accused of, you know, making expenses that they were not supposed to make. What happened? The system looked at the whole issue and followed it through to the end. And at the end of the day, some members were prosecuted and they were actually jailed. That is what happens where systems are working. Now, in Nigeria, for instance, we have all the institutions.
The systems, the institutions are there, but we don't make them work.
But we don't make them work. Who is supposed to make them work? The guilty ones are the ones that are supposed to make them work. And because they are the ones in charge, they don't want it to work.
A minister who lost his seat because he gave a ticket to a girlfriend.
What about the one who said, look, I have a house help and I can get citizenship for that house help after serving for so many years? That's the same country.
Yeah.
And they had to leave his seat because of that.
Exactly. So.
All right, we'll terminate the story here. But again, these things are very, very clear. BC and Dotun, have you heard anything like those who are serious in ridiculous matters might end up being ridiculous in serious matters? I don't. Have you heard it before?
Well, it's good you have brought this to the table.
No, I'm saying we are the watchdog. So Senate, Nigerian Senate, we wish you well. We wish you Godspeed. Go for it. Go for it. 55 vehicles. Oh, come on. They must not be missing. All right, our third story. Northwest Nigeria appears to have become the focal point of banditry in our checkered history. Despite a terse order to security agencies by Mr. President to crack down on brigands troubling Zamfara State, gunmen suspected to be bandits have attacked Rowan Tofa in Maru, local government area of the state. No less than 60 persons, mainly women and children, were forcefully taken away, even as a dusk to dawn curfew was declared on Jangebe, I hope that's right, by the governor. Now, the federal government on Thursday called on state governors, including mine and your own, gentlemen, to live up to their constitutional roles of chief security officers in the face of growing insecurity in their domains. After all, the statement adds, you enjoy autonomy in the Constitution in addition to security votes. But that's a straightforward statement.
The big question is, these statements, do they translate into reality?
Are you quarreling with the statement or the reality of the statement?
Is the reality.
Of the state. But
what do we have on ground?
No. The statement says you as governor are the chief security officer.
Yes.
You draw security votes. So go the whole hog. The statement says do anything you can in the name of keeping your state safe. That you cannot fault.
Statement-wise, reality-wise, what is on ground? If you are saying I'm the chief security officer, then it means I should be able to use my own initiative, come up with the form of security I believe will work. But it's not that way. We've had issues around governors trying to have their own form of security. The few ones that have worked are just the unarmed ones. For instance, in some of the northern states, you have ISBA, which can't in any way trouble anybody. You have in Borno, for instance, you have the civilian joint task force, but what can they do? Very little. Because they are also not armed in a way that they can combat bandits. They are not. So it comes to the question, if these governors really are chief security officers, do they have the authority to carry out their own plans?
And
their thoughts?
Should they keep drawing security votes?
Well, it's one of the...
If they do not have the authority.
It's one of the issues we've always had. Like they've always argued, the easiest way to steal money is to put it under security votes. Because it's not accountable for. That's why in some cases when some former governors and political officers were taken to court on how they spend security votes, it has always come out flat. So, the way we have been arguing is always governors are supposed to be in charge of their security, of their states. But any move they need to take, they run to Abuja.
Okay.
To go and meet with the president, to go and brief him. If indeed I'm the chief security, I'm supposed to take actions. And then go and tell the president afterwards, this is what I've done, and I'm good to go.
He's not thinking for you on this matter.
Well, I think there is a lacuna in our constitution that seems to encourage inefficiency also at the state level, among the state governors. And that lacuna is this issue of state police that is not, that has not been constitutionally approved. So we now have a situation where the governors can easily hide under the fact that they do not control security, the police.
The police, the army, name them.
Yes, and as such, they tell you that to what extent can they actually go in defending their states, which in reality is a fact. Then we also have the problem of number of people in even in the police, for instance. How many policemen is the national government funding? Do you get it? We have a problem of inadequate manpower, even in among our security forces, which means that the states are not even getting enough manpower. And if we have state police, everybody can recruit according to needs. And also, we no longer have the excuse of saying that they are not controlling the security. Then we can actually hold them accountable.
Okay. Let's hear what Abdul has to tell us. Good evening, Abdul. Welcome.
Good evening, Citizen Jones.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mrs. BC and Mr. Dotun.
Good evening.
Okay. To make my point on this rising insecurity, what I am just asking is that are these bandits or terrorists bigger than this country? Because this is something I think Nigeria has been, involved in several peacekeeping operations in different countries in Africa and all that. If they can make successes there, then why now? Except what I'm seeing is that the government in power have no political will to stop this menace, because it's like it's engulfing the whole country. And it's high time they should demonstrate the political will. And we should forget this whole thing. We should hire the private military contractors or mercenaries to help us in curtailing this thing. If we think or if we know that the manpower we have at home is not sufficient enough. We should stop all this, our brigandage, and hire those people if we think.
Yeah.
Because I'm just having pity or mercy for the governor of Borno State. So if assuming the governor of Borno State is a state like Kaduna where there's less insecurity, I believe there will be more development. But right now, the productivity of the state is in question. Because you can't have a state where there's no peace.
Oh, yeah. And expect to make money.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abdul, from Kaduna State. But let's digress a little.
Right.
BC had touched on it, but then what is the business of the National Assembly besides making laws? If state policing or community policing is a desideratum, as the white man would say, what's holding us from making a law to that? Have you thought about this?
Well, it's been here and there. There have been those for and those against. But at the end of the day, one of the things we shouldn't forget is this. For such a thing to become law, it must go through a process. If, unfortunately, along that line, especially at the top, those who are in charge don't feel okay with it, it's easy to truncate. We've had a few occasions where constitutional amendments have been proposed, and then you have a lot of state assemblies talking about it. But when it now comes to the reality of voting, and the governor says, this assembly, don't touch this thing, that's the end of it. We don't need to go into all the details of what has happened.
When it comes to security, who is saying what?
Well, we know that at the end of the day, everything stops on the table of the president.
But if BC Adekomo, Dr. every time is President Buhari, what about your governor? What about my governor?
What we are saying
is
her
governor?
Those governors,
yes,
they obviously know their limitation. When you see it,
no, when it comes to security, yes, there are limitations.
They know their limitations because here in Lagos, for instance, and like every other state, the governor does not control the army. He doesn't control the police. Not even NSCDC. He doesn't control any. So what they do, for instance, like a place in Lagos, you have the neighborhood corps. They carry only batons.
Okay, let me pause you. BC, the center has said to governors, go the whole hog. How do you rationalize it? What's your interpretation?
The interpretation is I need to say something and I need to sound politically correct. That is my interpretation of what the center has just done. The center has just spoken words into the ear. Because, you see, they said it's only a madman that will continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You cannot just come out and say, go and do this, when the systems on ground have not changed.
Okay. Well, I'll get back to you. Danlami is reaching us from Lokoja in Kogi State. Danlami, I greet you. Welcome.
Good evening, citizen.
Yeah, let's go.
Please, I want to quickly make some points here. The issue of security and the states. What is it? What is wrong with the states who go about buying vehicles upon vehicles upon vehicles for our security men? What we are asking for now is drones. We are asking for helicopters. We are asking for arms and ammunition. Why do they face only vehicles when all this technology will help them? And I don't think there's a law against that. I would like our state to look at the technology aspect and buy drones for these security men. Buy one other thing, at the borders.
Yeah.
At the border, I would like to see what was happening in those days where we have towers. The towers can see very far. You can high on the towers. Them there.
Okay. Dan Lami, thank you very kindly.
Dan Lami said there is no limitation. Let me
get him correctly.
Yes.
If you buy drones, I don't think the center will quarrel with you.
But you need approval for some level of such much. That's what I'm going to say. The National Security Advisor must approve.
Yeah, but if the center, the center had said, okay, let's take you to Zamfara State. The governor had been shouting himself hoarse, almost going, losing his voice. So you think he's wasting time?
Well, it's a different thing to say something, like she said, and for action to be taken on it.
Who knows? Maybe this is why the center is saying, look,
the body language must match.
What body language?
Your action.
Okay.
Must match your words.
Or your words must match your
action. And your action,
maybe.
Both must mix. When you speak and it's just political, it's just for me to say something, then there's a problem. It is not because we lack the capacity, but we still need to go further. Somebody called and said, we did something in Sierra Leone, we did in Liberia. Yes, we did. But those are foreign countries. Those are territories where we have nothing to lose.
BC, take it home for us. Again, let's go back to the center. It has said parts of a whole must take the initiative, kick the ball, it's in your court. These are not the best of times for us, security-wise.
Well, for me, I think it depends on even the states and their commitments. I agree with the last caller that some things can be done. And that was why I said, you know, even states themselves hide under this lacuna that, okay, we don't have control over security, therefore there is a limit to which we can go. But I think it takes commitment on states and at the federal level. We can actually achieve better results.
Gentlemen, we must pack it all in here, but not before reminding you, Dotun and BC, God gave us brains, right?
Yeah.
Did he ask us not to use these brains?
No.
I don't know. But let me thank you for coming. Dr. Ladipo, maybe we have to sleep on these matters.
It's an ongoing conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We can't run away from it. Security is important. It's the bedrock of everything.
All right. BC Deji Folutile, I thank you very kindly for your time.
Thank you.
God gave us brains. We must use those brains. I guess we have no choice. That will just... But by the way, Jide is unavoidably absent. He is out of Lagos to make money for us. And we need money. So, Jide, come back quick. Okay, then, that will just about do it for today. Don't forget, we are here on Sunday from 1:30 to 2:30, so join us then. But then, on behalf of the Backroom Boys here, we say thank you for watching. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones. Bye-bye now.